AM 970 WSTX.
I've been skirting around some of the things that's going on because I have a very special guest here with me today. I have with me Mary Dima from Christianstead Community Alliance, one of the key players, meaning Christianstead Community Alliance, in the beautification of St. Croix. The focus being on Christianstead, but it all comes together as part of the collective efforts that we need to put in to make St. Croix into what we want it to be. So next time you see something to complain about, I want you to go a step further. I want you to think about an organization maybe you could jump into and put the energy that would make that complaint into doing something about it, because that's what makes a difference, is you got to get up and do something about it. So with no further ado, I just want to go ahead and introduce her and have her enter this conversation. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Cicely. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure.
I greatly appreciate it. And I want to speak to the Puerto Rican Friendship Day. I drove down King Street today to come, and I see all their flags up. And then you have the flags up on a building that show the 7 flags, and then you see in the flag above Government House. And I love driving through town and seeing all these flags on the buildings. And I know that Top Hat always has theirs up. I'd like to see everybody start raising their flags. It's a beautiful sight, and I miss the flags on the bypass. When they were first up, it was phenomenal, just that driving over the hill and then those 2 flags flying. It definitely gave me a sense of pride of where I am and who I am. Apparently they got stolen, and they're not there anymore, which has been almost a year, and I miss them. So hello, government, let's get the flags back up. Would greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
Love to see them and instill that pride in everybody as they drive around Christianstead.
Yeah, I think those flags need to get back up, especially in the context of we got a centennial around the corner.
We got a
Yeah.
centennial around the corner.
A year and a half from now?
Yeah, so it's one of those things that we just need to figure out a mechanism to do it. And of course, one of the things that they could do is just put up some cams in the right places. Nobody's going to mess with those if we got the right cameras.
I guess it just depends on how they are raised. And so if they can be raised so they're permanent with a lock at the top, I don't think anyone would get up there without a bucket truck.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm also here to talk about what our organization is doing this month. We are involved in events and gathering people and volunteers, but we also have some issues that we tackle that you don't hear so much about. But I'm here to talk about a big one for this month, which is the Christianstead Town Cleanup. This is scheduled for October 24th. We are going to be all over town. We're not just focusing on the business sector. We are getting up into the resident neighborhoods, and I've already talked to Waste Management. We will have certain dumpsters put around town so people can just make use of them. We've already have many volunteers who have signed up, but if you haven't signed up, feel free to get in touch with us on our email account, which is cca@christiansteadnow.org, or you could call as an individual. Please call. We will be putting focus on where we can send different people up on Hill Street, up on Market Street, up on East Street, anywhere in town. We hope to cover each block and have this cleanup be highly successful. We already have businesses that have signed up in a group. If someone says, but my store's clean, that's okay. Just talk to your employees, see if you can get 2 or 3, and we'll go up in one of the back streets. As I say, we want to go right from King Street up King Cross as far as the bypass and all the parallel streets in between. We are counting on our volunteers. Speaking of volunteers, we've already had great response from a volunteer group that is called Clean Up St. Croix. And then there is another group, Volunteer St. Croix. So look into them. They are always coming up with activities where you can go, be it a beach cleanup, or if there's a part of the island that needs cleaning, they will help you. We've already had generous participation from businesses. Reliable Rentals always comes through for us. They'll be donating the use of a pressure washer. Speaking of which, we'll be looking for pressure washers. As I say, we want to cover all the town. So if you have one, please give us a call. Let's see if we can get it hooked up and used for the day. Pickup trucks. We're going to be needing people to pick up trash bags, full trash bags and things to bring to the dumpster sites. And I'm looking for a great day. And I wanted to mention to you, Doug, I think you know about this. I was confused. I was a little... I called Virginia Claremont. Virginia's the head of the Clean Sweep Frederickstead, and I don't know how many of you have been out there lately. It is spotless. It is absolutely breathtaking, beautiful, and it is spotless. They work on it week after week after week. So if we could just try to get as far as this one time and make it hugely significant in Christiansted, our sister cities will be just shining for both. Virginia did mention to me that October 24th, I believe is the third Saturday of the month, is always celebrated as National Make a Difference Day. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I love that. I love
make
that.
Make a difference. That's right.
So,
you always hear me saying that. Make a difference.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah. So maybe we need to get that established as a actual holiday on the VI schedule, and it would be wonderful. And that this just grows year after year, and the cleanups just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
All right. Well, let me join my confession. I confess to living in Christiansted, and I confess to cleaning up more than just my yard. And it's funny, sometimes I've had people ask me, is that your property? Why are you cleaning up? I said, no, but that's my neighbor. Good fences make good neighbors. I try to get along with my neighbors and keep the place, clean and so forth and so on. And that's the way we have to do it. Now, another thing that happens is that along the sidewalks, I really would encourage businesses to adopt the sidewalk next to their business. Okay? We have to get away from this thing that somehow it is government job to clean these things up. If you have a sidewalk next to your business and there's grass growing out the crevice that eventually is going to damage the sidewalk, well, take some steps to have the grass removed. It's just as a matter of the pride that you have in your business and your community, which supports your business. And so I really am reaching out to businesses and say, hey, look at the perimeter of your business. Take it over. Make it reflective of your business, okay? Sometimes I'm there cleaning on the hill where I live right here in Christiansted, and I'm down the hill from my house, and I'm pickaxe and machete and cutting down and cleaning, and folks pass by and say, oh, you got time with that? And I say, well, if I don't have time with it, who's gonna have time with it? I live here. So and I really am happy to see that you're embarking on this, and I look forward to being out there with you on the 24th. I look forward to going into the communities and giving out the flyers and letting everybody know. So in fact, they're going to be on board.
Thank you, Doug. Yes, and just so everyone knows, Doug is on board. He already has told us, I don't need to clean in front of my house, but I want to get in the neighborhood where we can be effective somewhere else. And so that's what you can all do. Say, well, my house is clean. We know that, and you keep it up, but join us, and we will find another spot for you, definitely.
Right. Mary, it's so funny that you say that, right? Because I don't know that I don't need to, because after this, someone might say, exactly.
They're gonna go look.
Here's a bag.
Yeah, they're gonna go check your driveway, your house.
Exactly.
Right. We have a caller here. Let me see who this is. Good day, caller. You turn down your radio. Hello. Okay, I guess they're
I
gone.
have a question
Okay.
though. Like you say, you need pickup trucks, people with bags and what have you. What about people who can cut the grass? Because I happened to be passing on the bypass yesterday, and I was like, I saw some of the guys was cutting in that area, but then the other area had bush going into King Cross, going back down into King Cross, and I was like, I asked him, I was like, okay, so why is it that they have one area clear, and then the other area just full of bush? So are you gonna have? You need people, weed whackers, lawnmowers.
I would think so. I just told Doug when I came in earlier this morning that on Sunday there's a group of us that are going to go through town, the residential neighborhoods, passing out the flyers to inform them of what's coming up, and this will give me the opportunity to further look into the areas that need attention. So I'm writing that down, and we'll look at that. And yes, we'll see about weed whackers. If you have gloves, little rakes, anything that might, little spades that you can dig around the guts, and as Doug mentioned, where grass is growing, we can get that out. Wear a hat, wear sunscreen. We're meeting at 8 o'clock, by the way, 8 o'clock at the National Park, and we will be signing, then telling people what streets, what blocks to go to. But we already have many groups of businesses and professionals who are coming together on their own will also get a block. But as a single person, individual, we need your help. Everybody appreciates each other's help. We know that this is how we're going to help our community, and we're working on that. I think Doug has something going on here. Just a minute, please.
Let me see who. Hello, you're on air.
Good morning. I just wanted to know the phone number.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've been here so busy running our mouth here. 773-0390, 773-0490 is the station for starters. And let's talk about Christian
Mary's
Stead.
number.
My phone number.
Right.
Correct.
To connect.
Correct. Thank you.
To get in touch with us about it, it is 513-2081. I'll say it again, 513-2081.
You there or you left? Okay. That's why was my next figure was because I realized I hadn't stated the station number.
I had it
and then
written down too. I had it written down to make sure I brought that up.
See, that's why I tell you, Mary, about these things. It gets to be such a good conversation. Sometimes you can get lost in a conversation. You got to pull right back in. Yeah, okay. But I'd like you to repeat that number as we go along later on.
All
because,
right.
There are others who would come in later and may need to get the number. But this is going out and into the neighborhoods is an important part of it, because in fact then you start touching people. We're not coming in like strangers and telling you what to do in your neighborhood. We want to help you to have your neighborhood how you'd like to have it look. Okay. The other thing that I really want to point out is that there's something going on here on St. Croix, something good. Something that definitely, if it was contagious, I hope everybody gets it. And it's this movement to clean up and reclaim St. Croix and make it look how we want it to look. Like we live here and this is our place. So you see it with the Clean Sweep Frederickstead. You see it with Christianstead Community Alliance. And then you've got folks like Clean Up St. Croix, who just saying, hey, we're out here doing our thing, but you got a thing going on too? We'll jump in.
They did.
And this is fantastic.
It is.
It is. And the other side of it, you might hear these names, but these names have a lot of volunteers behind them, private sector individuals. It's really, really fantastic, and I'm just so glad to see it catching on, because we need it, and it's helpful. It builds community, builds camaraderie, so I'm happy to see this happening.
I agree with you 100% on that one, and building the community is a big part of what needs to be strengthened for us to reclaim our towns and claim a quality of life that we haven't experienced in quite some time. And we need to get to know our neighbors. And the old neighbors, there's new people moving into town. There's some great new people moving into the private properties and businesses. And make sure you go and introduce yourself to them. We want to get to that community feeling that we had early when I first moved here in the 1970s. It was great.
Yeah, not just on the main streets also.
Yeah.
We got another caller here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Oh, thank God for one more day.
One more day.
A blessed day to you. You know, let me ask you something, though. You are a September person?
Who tell me secret?
Wait, that's for truth?
Yeah, I'm a September person.
I'm a September too, you know.
All right. I'm 12.
The funny thing about it is before the program came on, I was here. I says, well, I know Mr. Canton is on today, and I would like to say something. And you started out on the same thing that I was thinking about.
All right.
So I think we're in the right kind of moon.
The moon had more than blood in it.
But, you know, the easiest thing for anybody to do is to criticize, look at the negative. And the positive thing, it seemed like they try to avoid it. But if we consider this beautiful island of St. Croix as our home, let us take care of it.
Amen.
This is a special place. We have special people, and we have to love our island and our people. If we have that love in us, now you don't know what we could do.
Hey, there's nothing we can't do.
Now, things happen. Today is my son's birthday, Mark.
All right.
Up in Florida. And I had in mind, I said, well, I'm going to play happy birthday for him, but I'm going to give him a lot of time. When I looked, the phone ring, it was him. And he says, well, he called because, we will call, and he's at a meeting. He's going to be at a meeting all day. And the meeting started 8 o'clock, but he called about 7:30. I said, what? Anyhow, I pick up the horn, and I played happy birthday for him, and I played What a Wonderful World.
Hey.
Because at his wedding, I played What a Wonderful World. And I'm sure that put a little light in his day, starting off good.
Priceless.
And it make me feel good, too.
That's
but
great.
People, like you said, people will see you cleaning up a certain area. Man, what were you cleaning up there for? That ain't belong to you. You know, that's to give them some kind of excuse not to do the right thing.
Yep.
Now, the positive thing that I'm hearing is wonderful, because people taking the initiative. Now, the next thing we got to work on is the young people who feel that they are not being loved or nobody care about them or something like that. So they hold on to some friends who maybe feel the same way too. So I think if we see a young person and we see that that person is probably heading, and we know definitely they'll get into the wrong path, say something nice to them. Mm-hmm. You never, Mr. Marco used to tell us, it's the little things that count.
Yeah, makes a big difference.
And if we could say something nice to people and we smile, I get the feeling of the way it used to be long ago, with everybody saying good morning, good afternoon, and concern about your neighbor. I think, man, we could be a showcase, man.
Well, let me tell you, and just real quick here, when it comes to the good morning, the good afternoon, that type of stuff, I'm walking down the street with my chair, and I say it. I turn to them. I said, "Did you say good morning?" Because I'm making sure that they understand this isn't just something Daddy does. This is something that's expected of you, and it goes a long ways. All right. And it is so disappointing sometimes when people I know that their family raised them up that way, and they have somehow lost it to the point where, I say it plain in the face, and the face just hard as ever and just pass on by. But I just say to myself, maybe they're going through something I don't know about. I let it go.
You know what I'd love to say in reference to this is that when my daughter was at college in New York, she was getting out her items out of the dorm, and I couldn't go upstairs, so I turned around and went to sit and wait in the lobby, and this young lady said, "Good afternoon." And I smiled and looked at her and said, "And what part of the Caribbean are you from?" And she said, "I'm from St. Croix."
Oh,
And
my goodness.
it just made our day, both of us.
Well,
She was a student. Yeah, it was great.
All right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'll tell you, don't think that all that is being said on this program is going to waste.
Oh, no. I
Thank
get
you.
stopped on the road all the time. That's the one good
Me
thing
too.
about this show.
Yeah, thank you.
I get a lot of feedback. And that says something, because there's something being said on here that people want to hear.
Whether they're calling or not, they're telling you to your face, hey, that show is good.
Exactly. So it's a starter. And today, in dealing with Christian Stead and reviving as much as possible this sense of community, this sense of camaraderie, cooperation to beautify Christian Stead and make it a safer place, hey, we're on the right track.
The next thing is, if you know someone who is in the home all the time, an elderly person who might be homebound, give them a phone call and say something nice. A simple thing as a phone call could make a lot of people feel so much different. I get phone call from people 90 years, 90, 80 odd years and thing, and we chat, and it's really nice, because a lot of times these people in the home and they're lonely and they would like to speak with somebody. So giving somebody a little shout out, anybody, just somebody, give them a shout out, that will make them feel good, man.
And there's certain organizations, including churches, that make it a point to go to places like Herbert Gregg in particular to visit people, and all of these things go a long way, and encouraging our young people to get involved in these type of things, because it's community service. And as I tell my daughter all the time, it's not all about you. It's not necessarily what you could get. Sometimes you have to give and not have any expectations to get anything. Just give because you have a heart and have something to give. And when you see them out there learn that from this age to later on in life, there's hope for us as a community.
You see, your daughter has a very good image to follow, and she will also pass it on. And this is what we have to do. Try to lead people the right path. But there are too many broken homes that the children don't feel love. Love is the main thing.
Yep. Well, we got to work on it.
Yeah, well, thank you for the time.
I appreciate your call and discussion, and keep praying for us as we pray for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good cigar.
Good cigar. 10-4 and out.
Okay then, take care. Yes, it's always great when he calls in terms of the things that he has, the history, the legacy in terms of things here in St. Croix. We've got to do a better job of capturing those things, and especially we come right back into Christian Stead. There's so much history in Christian Stead, and we have to do whatever we can to keep that history, preserve it, and retell it, and clean it up as part of that effort.
And let me say this. If we get enough calls from the Hillsiders who grew up in Christian Stead, but no longer are living there, give us a call. We would love to have whatever youth groups we position throughout town to clean a block or two meet you. You can tell them on October 24th that what it was like when they grew up there, who lived next door, what you did, how you got in trouble when you with St. Mary's School was all over every kid in the neighborhood. They knew who every kid it was. But the youth today, when we have our youth groups put through the different blocks in town. Let's get a hillsider in there and talk with these kids as they're cleaning up. I would love that. That's the children today don't understand the history of Christiansted. They don't understand that it was truly a residential town, and they don't understand the need to preserve it even. So let's mentor with these youth groups. And I do want to quickly mention a great one starting in St. Christiansted is Project Promise by Risa O'Reilly. And that is exactly what she's doing, is mentoring youth. And there, you could probably get in touch with Risa, or Project Promise probably has a Facebook page if you want to find out more about that because you want to work with kids.
Okay.
I just want to quickly state again, the cleanup's October 24th, 8 a.m. to noon. Later if you want to keep going. Sign in down at the National Parks grounds and by the fort there. And you can also contact us. My phone is 513-2081. Our email again is cca@christianstednow.org. And I'm Mary Dima again. All right, so now you know what we're up to and what we are doing that day, so please come out and join the clean team.
Okay, you didn't mention that you're also on Facebook. For those folks who are there casting their line on Facebook,
Thank you.
And check them out. All right, and you know, the hill that I live on is called New Street, and the next cross street down is Church Street. The property where I grew up there is on New Street, but it's named as Church Street because it was part of a property that was originally addressed on New Street, and when they split the property in two, you get a choice to keep the old address or the new address. So it's a Church Street on New Street. But to just digress a little bit here, you know, folks like Ronald Lindsay, long gone somewhere out there in the States. He lived up the street. Marvin Titus, he's living up in Maryland. Randy Macedon, who is working at UVI next. You know, my very good friend, God rest his soul, David Canagata the third, Toshi, as we used to call him. We had Mark Biggs and Wayne Biggs next door.
Really?
Yeah, and then of course we had up on the hill the Motors, but all of these names we call our kids who got together and played together and cleaned up together. Back in those days, it was a status thing to be able to use a lawnmower, not to ride in one either. We kept the place cut, clean, and everything else, and it was just that spirit in the community. Of course, everybody has grown up, and you know they moved on to a different location where they're living and taken care of, so forth and so on. But I'm throwing out these names and saying, hey, folks, if you're in the area, Christiansted Community Alliance, hey, come back to your first home in Christiansted and help us out a little bit here. Definitely.
We would welcome you warmly, gratefully, definitely.
Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. You know, there's so much in Christiansted as a matter of cultural significance. Also, when you look at some of the wells that are still preserved in Christiansted, and you could use a little touch up or whatever. Some of these guts that get blocked up, and get Public Works in there to help us out with that in advance, especially being that this is hurricane season. In that sense, you have the guts in terms of, we used to have when the big rain and we'd have our stick boat races in the guts. And now you've got that gut there with the big concrete liner in it. And we've got all those trees that are overgrown. So hey folks, if you got a chainsaw and you're willing to help out, right there back by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, go all the way down toward the marketplace, down there by, but before you get there, by the old Doc James office, and 10 tours going through there. So let's get the chainsaws out and clear these guts and these trees. Make it safer also, because then it's more visible to see what's going on in the neighborhood. So,
and we'll be announcing where the dumpsters are, so you'll be able to take away the debris.
Mary, I'm going to actually get my youth group to assist.
Thank you. What's your youth group?
The Couples for Christ Youth Ministry.
That's great. Thank you so much. And let's find a hillsider to mentor them during that day.
Definitely. Guys, we're going to be coming off of our camp this month, actually.
Okay.
So in the following week, we can definitely assist.
Thank you. That's great. So we now have a new member on our clean team.
That's actually our first thing on the list was actually to do a cleanup.
That's wonderful. See, synchronicity.
Fantastic.
I love synchronicity.
All right.
Serendipitous.
Well, we've got great things going on St. Croix, great things going on in Frederickstead, great things going on in Christianstead, and we've got great people. It's one thing I would say about this place that I miss when I stay away too long is the people. Okay, the people make it happen. The people make it into what it is, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate a lot of things that I learned growing up in terms of just basic manners and everything else. It's just not to be understated in terms of importance.
When you say we have the great groups in Christianstead, that one of the groups that we work closely with, and I'm always at their meetings to know what they're doing, is Christianstead Restaurant Retail Association, and they have some great events coming up, especially for November 7th. And so I am digressing here a little bit, but on November 7th, that day actually is going to be the last day of what is the VI Department of Tourism's new promotion for Dine VI. It's going to be Restaurant Week, and I believe it starts October 29th. Well, it ends on November 7th, a date that we had already planned, confirmed our event, which is the Vintage and Collectibles Fair at Limerick Park. This event was developed to, again, bring people together. That day, the 7th, will be the Dine VI last day, where they will be having celebrations throughout Christianstead, a lot of music and all, and that will be Feast Christianstead. So there's some great things coming up in Christianstead, and we invite you all to keep coming to town.
Oh yeah, and November is when our Thursday kicks back in again also.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
I tell people I just love it when you have choices to be conflicted. Oh, should I go here? Should I go there? That's the way we want it to be, because there's plenty of people to go everywhere.
And it just worked out this way that October 24th is the week before Dine VI starts with the tourism promotion. So there you go. We got quite an event coming up that we really want to spruce up town. And it also happens to be the first week that our Danish charters tourists will be coming on island. So we want to put the shine on Christianstead and welcome everybody, and we want everybody to enjoy November 7th at the Feast Christianstead. And then you know how to get in touch with me. It's Mary Dima, 513-2081.
All right.
Thank you, Doug.
You heard at the beginning we were talking about things that are going on this month into next month. So make sure I get the details on these things so we can definitely be putting the word out there and plug it, because we want people to know about it. We want people to know about all these things going on so that they can have the opportunity to go ahead and pick which one they're going to go to.
That's great.
Or jump around from one to the other. Which, by way, of course, you know that your other symbiotic partner there, St. Croix Foundation.
Oh my goodness!
They just had their anniversary the other day, and we were there to take part a little bit in that, and that's great. And it just says there's so much going on. We just got to keep that calendar so people can see, plan, and become a part of the solution. Okay, that's what it's really all about. Okay.
And St. Croix Foundation, believe me, without their help, I don't think we would have grown as fast as we can. There's great people there. Deanna James, the executive director now, and they accomplish so much.
Yeah, partnerships. It's partnerships. That's how we make it happen, through partnerships. And anything that we can do to get the word out. WSTX is a community-minded station, and we're always ready to help get the word out to make sure that we're looking out for St. Croix and these Virgin Islands. All right?
Thank you for having me on, Doug.
So I'm hearing the music there. We're going to have a quick pause for the cause, and then we'll be back. This is Doug Kenton inviting you to join the conversation on Reflections every Thursday from 8 to 10 a.m. On Reflections, we discuss the positive developments in our community as well as focus on the positive that you and I can make happen. After the show, the conversation is also available on YouTube and Facebook. So tune in to Reflections on WSTX AM 970, your community-minded station.